Ugh. Hello, welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of Modern Commentary. Excuse me while I got the controls familiar in my brain. Right, I have all this stuff. That's this. It's been a while, I'm sorry. And this, that's the zoom. Shoot, gun, got, yeah, crouch. Elizabeth, you remember? We're here for the birds! It's been forever since I recorded anything by myself. We've mostly been on a Kingdom Hearts bin for a while. Welcome back to Modern Commentary, everybody. On our quest for Shock Jockey at the Hall of Heroes. And boy, is it a good day for me to record. Because I just voted in the midterm elections of 2018. Where am I going? Down. Let me just make sure I got this over here. It feels like I got it. You excuse me, miss? God, you're the worst. And I'm pretty sure I listened to that already, so let me just make sure. Nope, that's the wrong one. Veterans. Yep. Yep. Anyways, it's been, last time I recorded, we had not, the Kavanaugh hearings had not happened, and he's now Supreme Court Justice, which is kind of fucking horseshit. Because even if he is innocent, you would think the U.S. Supreme Court has an obligation to its citizens to not let an alleged, and I use the word alleged very loosely because, come on, the guy likes fucking beer. I think it's a real damn shame that even an alleged sexual assaulter can become Supreme Court Justice. Oh no, what am I kidding? No, he's also Supreme Court Justice.
Here you go.
No, I want. That's fine. Can become president.
Sorry, that's all I've got.
Because you gotta grab him by the.
Looks like we found where your old friend Slade is.
So.
Shock Jockey, get the hell out of here.
Did they all die? Oh, this is never mind. This is what's his name? God. The guy. Slate. These are Slate's boys that are murdering everybody. Anybody there? I hear the music. I hear the fight music. I'll come back for the shotgun in a little bit. There we are. Damn you. 360 no scope. Wait. Alright, fine. Oh, screw you. What did I say? I'm about to die. I'll talk a little bit more clear once my not dying. Elizabeth, do you mind? Because, like, I need you to either throw me a health pack or be useful.
I've got ammo.
Thank you. So I believe her mechanic is she's grabbing ammo from around that already exists. I don't think she's making it appear from thin air. A lot of people think it's jarring to have her throw weapons at you. I don't really mind. I think it creates a nice pace to the combat where your focus is a little divided in a shooter environment. Hold on, right into this. Got him. Is that it? Nope. Oh, yes, it is. Anyways, I got so much money. Thank you, Elizabeth. This was useless. Let's just throw this on the ground. Shoddy snipers, back to my Halo 3 days. Sweet. Alright. Why are you mocking me? Just take the RPG, fine. Where was I? Oh yes, last we met, a man accused of sexual assault became Supreme Court Justice, which is great. And as soon as he got confirmed in, it was one of those things where I said to myself, and to Mercedes, this is why more women don't, and men, let's be honest about it, don't come forward as assault victims. Because nothing happens. Because you can bet if a guy got murdered 20 years ago and tried to run for Supreme Court, we'd be like, whoa. That wasn't a different time. You don't blame the victim. Like, get bent. It's disgusting. It really is. And to the point where everybody on the Republican side of things just started defending it. And that one flake tried to have a conscience for 2 seconds. At least he had the investigation. That investigation was horseshit. Because they did not really investigate anything. They didn't even talk to any of the key witnesses. It's just an example of why everything is stupid. And why I hope after today's election results that Democrats gain the majority. Me and Mercedes are not going to make any... We're not going to hide about our political leanings. Like, this is a series that talks heavily about it. So, enjoy that. And if you want to skip ahead for when I just talked about Bioshock, feel free. Hello, crows. Bye, crows. But I didn't even really want to consider myself a Democrat for the purposes of like larger political concerns. That's machine gun. No, I don't want that. Yes. Yes. And yes. Oh. Also, I saw that I missed a lockpick, I think, in one of the old episodes. We'll be walking back through it, so if I'm still there during one of the sessions, I'll grab it. But I remember exactly where it is. It was before the bathroom scare. Ooh, a thing. But from what I hear so far, the 2018 midterm turnout is super high, which is great to hear. American really needed that boost in turnout. Try fake FFG shock jockeys. Thanks, Mr. Fink. Where's my phone? I found it. Finn. Anyways, yeah, they're talking about shock jockey. Which is how they produce electricity. It's actually just a vigor that lets you produce a crystal that produces electricity. A little bit of a second-hand device, if you ask me. But it works. Although, from what you'll see, it'll break like half the time. Yeah. Slate. Man's always been half a fool, half a hero. Never could tell which side was more dangerous. Yeah. Bravery is 3 parts fool, 1 part... 3 parts fool, 1 part daring? Noble? Something like that. Oh, she gets a lantern for this section. And it's clipping through her hands a little bit.
Sweetest fatherland, but here's the place where we revere the heroes of our city fear.
Hello. Hello. Hello today. But yeah, just I'm hoping the conversation for some modern politics will happen a little more naturally. I just wanted to get that out of the way now. About my thoughts about it. About how ridiculous it is that, like... And you know what? Sexual allegations aside of how he treated Dr. Ford, who had super compelling testimony. Like, allegations aside, his attitude during those hearings is gross. How is it any of that befitting a Supreme Court justice, if that's how you act? Show me that fucking calendar. What an idiot. Oh, let's buy this. Devil's Kiss Aid. Yeah. Money goes down. So I add little clusters now. Oh no, he was stabbed in the back. Poor guy. What's this? Minutemen armor, extra guns. Yeah, screw that. Don't ever buy those.
They'll call us assassins when our work is done. Cornelius Slate, the swift left hook of the Vox Populi. We'll be trading Comstock's life for a new one. So be it. The Fitzroy woman and I are comrades of necessity. I doubt all the men who reddened Caesar's toga would still be seen breaking bread together in peacetime. With Comstock gone, my men's past deeds will be sacred, and they will claim the spoils due them. I need not live to see it.
So Slate's coming in talking about how he has to side with the Vox Populi to get things done. He doesn't sound like he's altogether comfortable with it. But it's got to be done, and he knows full well that after everything that happens here today, he'll be considered an assassin on the wrong side of history. Ooh, oh my. Sweet, I'm gonna go get some salts. Yeah, that was totally worth it. That was free. Which happens a lot. We're in an area that's basically propaganda, like the whole city's propaganda. But we're in an area that is retelling the history of certain moments in American history. So, lights are all off.
Our prophet, Father Comstock, commander of the 7th Cavalry.
That man did not lead the 7th. Hell, I don't even remember the guy.
Corporal DeWitt proved his worth on the field that day.
Well, I'll be. Slate? Is that you?
Say hello?
Always been different, haven't you, Booker? You crave no glory.
Look, I see you're caught up in some kind of jam
Yeah.
here. If you could see fit to let us through to where they keep the shock jockey, then we'll...
That tin soldier, Comstock, wants my boys dead. We will...
No, you weren't listening. I want to do my thing.
There's going to be trouble.
All my men have left is a choice. Die at the hands of a tin soldier.
Yeah, he's totally caught up in his own crap. Yeah, so not Comstock. Oh, here we go.
You see, you're a killer, Booker. Like it or not.
Just give us the shock jockey.
If you want the vigor, Booker, you will give my men a soldier's death. They wait for you in Wounded Knee and Bakey.
So Slate's just decided now, because he knows he's going to lose the fight against Comstock, because they pinned him here in the Hall of Heroes. Now he's like, I don't want to die to Comstock and his bullcrap. Oh, look, Booker's here. He's a good guy. I'll die on his sword. That's my plan. So basically, he just wants to die to a real soldier. And Tin Man being the term for the toys here. The term Tin Man referring to not only the toys, but also to the state of affairs that Slate believes Comstock is making people into. That they're not real people. They're all just propagandists. They're, you know, not really fighting for the right causes. They're abusing their power, so on and so forth. So, you know, he's doing what he can. I thought I saw something. And he's allied himself with Vox Populi because they're also the disenfranchised at this point. And we're just kind of caught in the middle. We're not really contributing. We're literally just grabbing all the stuff we need and leaving. They're all equal right now. My shield's almost busted, so did not help me there in that fight. So pop shields up. So yeah. This is what I meant before in one of my earlier episodes when I said we just seem to be walking through the levels. Like not really trying to interact too much with actually what's happening. What's that? Shotgun, thank you.
The right materials aren't always at hand.
I know that, Elizabeth, it's fine. Okay, here we go. So this is another thing that I want to talk about during modern commentary. It is the influence of authority figures to... Oh, excuse me, Elizabeth. My. To taint history. There's a phrase Mercedes and I are familiar with. It's called the history is written by the victor. Essentially means that the truth of history is decided by everyone who gets to live and is in position to tell the truth the way they want to. So here we go. So, Boxer Rebellion, incident in Columbia, secedes from the Union. Where's the... yeah, Hero of Wounded Knee, Boxer Rebellion. So Wounded Knee happened first, then the Boxer Rebellion. Boxer Rebellion is very recent. So this is retelling the narrative of the Wounded Knee and Boxer Rebellion from the point of view of fundamentalists who want to justify their actions as being necessary, or as the white man bringing culture to yeah, I mean, look at that. Devil eyes and darkness.
The real ones. Now your companion, young lady, he wrapped himself in glory on December 29, 1890.
See, that's the thing. Slate still sees it as glory.
What does he mean?
You don't want to know.
He still sees this as all a good thing. He's just more upset that Comstock took credit for it. Scalping, yeah. I believe I want to go this way first. He shot first. That's Han Solo. That's him. Jesus. Oh, gear. I know what it does. Throttle. I thought it said throttle children. Comparison. Gearhead. Become harder to detect. Just take it. Don't equip it. seems to be nothing in there. I saw search something. A corpse. That's the dead body I'm in front of. So yeah, it's a very dangerous thing to manipulate history. It's something I'll see a lot of Southern studs below the Bible Belt doing. Not all of them, but influencing textbooks to only show certain portrayals of history. Or like a famous one saying that the American Civil War was about states' rights, which it was, but it was more importantly about the state right to keep slaves. And if someone says, no, it's about our property and keeping our property, it's like, yeah, slaves were considered property.
With hue and cry, with hatchet red, they danced amongst
So, yeah.
our noble dead. But when our soldiers took the field, the savage horde...
Slate, as a character, seems more concerned with the sacrifice of his soldiers. He doesn't really care about the context of this bad society. He's coming more from the Vietnam era of how we treat soldiers. Because Vietnam was the last war where we instituted the draft. And essentially,
You were there.
we were involved in a war that we had no business being a part of. Oh, the door's locked.
See it in your face.
Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you for knowing what war looks like, even though you've never been outside the tower.
Feel like the heroes of Sparta. I still hear the screams.
So he's very much traumatized about it, but he's not really thinking about the effect of what happened to the Native Americans. I'm trying to reload. I'm actually trying to reload. I'm actually reloading. Which he's not wrong. There is an effect on our soldiers when it comes to war. And speaking more importantly to Vietnam, it's one of those things that... It's one of those things where many people protested the war. And to the point where they weren't supporting our soldiers even though they were suffering. And a lot of them didn't have a choice but to enlist. There is everyone. So after that it became more important to... if you don't support the war, support the troops because they're the ones really suffering. And even to this day, with the 9/11... how? Alright, hold on. It became very important to support the effort that people go through. And the fact, by the way, that those 9/11 survivors and rescuers have not gotten what they need to take care of conditions that they got from 9/11 for being there and inhaling the smoke from those buildings is also disgusting. So it's important to remember the sacrifice of your nation's soldiers. But it's also important to recognize when they're fighting for the wrong cause. Because what you want... It's very similar to Slate's and Daisy's problem right now, where it's important for the disenfranchised to come together to a common goal, even if they haven't always seen eye to eye. My God, you hear that? So this is a battle... to get back to the plot. This is a battle that Comstock claims to have a part of as a commander, and Slate and Booker both claim he wasn't there. Booker and Slate were both definitely there. This is where they know each other. So they were both definitely there. And they know that Slate wasn't. Comstock wasn't. God, these names are all these white people names sound the same. Where you going? You take a lot of damage. I feel bad killing these guys. Because we're essentially on the same side. They just prefer to die. That's really all it is for them. Oh, I didn't grab this. I don't want that. Dollar bills, y'all. Also, yeah, to look at the timeline a little bit better. Battle of Wounded Knee, which Booker's a part of. Columbia, 3 years later, amazingly, is launched. Yeah. Let's see. And then another 10 years go by. Comstock has a baby. Comstock's wife is murdered 2 years later. Boxer Rebellion incident. Murder of Americans in the Boxer Rebellion. And this timeline, Columbia, the city, attacked what it raised Peking. Columbia secedes from the United States. And I believe... Was it the War of 1812? Yeah, it was the War of 1812, I believe. That's where Lincoln was... After Lincoln was assassinated during his presidency. Peking!
What happened there?
In Peking, it was my house.
So this is when Slate started working for Comstock.
Of course, that's not
God,
what
that's super
Comstock
racist.
tells it.
So yeah, these are super racist portrayals of the Chinese. Employees only. I'm an employee of death. Squeeze me. Sky reloader. Absolutely not. Oh, it's carbine. That's really useful. I'm not using this, but I will soon. Shotgun's just really effective at just blowing dudes out of the water. Oh hey.
What are you doing?
You have a lot of health. Why waste ammo, you know? Oh, it looks really good. It looks like Mulan. But yes. So we're dealing with a subsection of Colombia that is rebelling against Comstock.
Was yellow skin and
Wow, immediately.
that did betray us with their lies until they crossed the righteous path of our prophet's holy wrath.
So holy, as in it's full of holes. So many holes. So yeah, we just kind of, this is Elizabeth getting a little bit more background to Booker as well. Oh yeah, and in this version, yeah, Comstock led Colombian troops to
Comstock
take
led the
King.
Colombian troops to Peking.
Wasn't there! The boxers took my eye and 30 of my friends! Is there even a stone to mark that sacrifice?
So yeah, with
Firemen!
what's it called? God, I can't remember. Oh, there he is. With Wounded Knee, for sure, Comstock wasn't there, according to Booker and to Slate. I'm getting my ass kicked. Excuse me. For sure he wasn't there, and then now at the Boxer Rebellions, it's another situation where they're saying, no, he wasn't there either. Like, he's just taking credit for all, like, the places he just possibly happened to be at, and saying it was divine intervention. And that's what people will do when they claim that they have divine right to do anything. They'll claim that everything they've been doing is like, oh, you know, it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for me. I only survived the incident because God said he wanted me to.
Favor, Booker. You let them die like men.
Why don't we just work together?
Yes, I have no quarrel with these men.
Seriously.
Heroes never ask.
I never claimed to be no hero.
Then what are you? If you take away all the parts of Booker DeWitt you tried to erase, what's left?
This is an important line.
Come back to the rotunda. It's almost over.
Comstock. Commander of the 7th
Slate
Cavalry.
me. What did you try to erase?
Now that you're out of yours, you might realize cages have their advantages.
A choice is better than none, Mr. DeWitt. No matter
Hello,
what the outcome.
Elizabeth.
Yeah. What if you woke up one day and realized you didn't like what you chose?
Essentially saying personal identity and freedom. He's saying, listen, I was at war. It sucked. I'm a terrible person. I tried to get rid of the parts of myself that survived the war. Hold on a second. I tried to get rid of myself, the self that did all those terrible atrocities. Not like Comstock, who doesn't regret a second of it. Didn't work. And after having the freedom from war, he tried to basically, you know, see if he could erase himself. What are you doing with that lantern? God, this trivializes everything. And basically taking it back to the bird of the cage argument. Where is she? There you are.
Say what you want about Lady Comstock. The woman had an eye for fashion.
Aren't you her daughter? Or supposed daughter. Jesus
You've
Christ.
seen what Comstock has done to my history. Now see how he's rewritten his own.
You hold on to
Oh,
this.
thank you. Does it still float? Yep, that's a bug.
Thanks.
That's definitely a bug. So rewriting history. And Booker's point of view, trying to relate it back to the bird of the cage, saying freedom's nice, but when you don't like yourself, what does freedom mean? When you come from just moments after moment after moment of suffering.
The prophet lay in the womb of Our Lady, but for a single week. Comstock had a child. My books never mentioned anything
Seriously?
about a child.
That's quite
Seriously?
an omission. Can't imagine that was by accident.
You don't see this the picture of the statue right here?
Took ill, and Our Lady prayed for the prophet's heir day and night.
I want to finish my thought before they keep talking about nonsense. Essentially saying that freedom's well and fine, and choosing your own destiny is well and fine, but if you don't like yourself, or if you're not comfortable with who you are, your actions that have led up to the person you are now, then it doesn't matter if you have freedom. You're still confined to a cage, and in some ways, at least the cage supported who you were. The cage kept you confined in this personality and didn't give you the context of your terrible decisions. It just kept reinforcing the role you were supposed to make. And hence, that's why the decision between the cage or the bird is important, because it's staying within the confines of known prison and who you know you are, or dealing with the freedom and the fear of the unknown. Alright, now, let's talk about this. Now, let's just take a look at something for anybody that already knows the game. Both pinkies. Where are you?
Point that somewhere else.
I just want to get close to her. You're making this really hard. It's on her right. There, it's on her right hand. Yeah, it's already wrong. That would have been a nice detail. I didn't expect them to get it right. It's not worth the effort. I'll pick this up later, maybe. So yes. Here we go. There you go. You figured it out.
Daisy Fitzroy has murdered my beloved. She shall not have the child. She shall not come betwixt her and prophecy. The seed of the prophet shall sit the throne and drown in flame the mountains of man.
You're Comstock's
Yes.
daughter.
No, I can't be.
You're in the tower, girl.
To follow in his footsteps.
Well, I want a puppy, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna get one.
Let me pump up the volume a little bit on this. It's a little low. But yes, hey, there it is. The important person in the tower. Who could have thought? There's a lot of not talking in this. Where Booker, I mean, Booker doesn't care who she is. He's just trying to get out. And she's discovering who she is. Oh, look, a plot lock. I don't need to actually save anything for these. I mean, of course, don't actually. So this is a lie. Fitzroy was Comstock's servant. Lady Comstock's. But did not murder. What a statue to have here, by the way. But did not actually murder Lady Comstock. Did you listen to it already when I wasn't looking? Okay.
To those who loved me, I was the most generous of souls. There was no pain I would deny them, no betrayal I would not gladly give. And when I had scorched the hearts of all who loved me, the prophet said, "There is nothing you can do for which I will not forgive you. For God has granted me sight, and through his eyes, even you are loved."
So, I may have mentioned this in part 1 or 2. I believe part 1. But the idea that you can take a lowly sinner and make them someone worth redeeming, make them someone who just stands an example for your cause, just strengthens your cause 100 times more. And it sounds like Lady Comstock was somebody like that. We'll take her money though. She doesn't need it. She's dead. So yes. We'll eventually get a voxophone that clarifies what actually happened, how she died. But just know now, when Slate's referring to the rewritten history of his personal life, this will have greater significance. Just keep in mind. Also, way to go leaving a baby in a tower. Obviously, the baby has weird supernatural powers. I had a nickel for every time I heard that. Oh yeah, and he personally led the charge. Where's Croc?
I can get through these bars, but you're too
What?
broad. Let me scout ahead, see if there's some way to move
Well,
forward.
go ahead. Do your thing. How?
Is that?
It's a tear, something I can bring into this world.
It's a freight hook. Well, that's convenient.
As I said, it's a form of wish fulfillment.
Oh. Oh my god. Let's not look at it. Maybe if we don't look at it, it won't be there. Oh,
All right. Let me know if you want me to bring that freight
oh
hook in.
no. It's too scary. The nice guy. It's beautiful though. And we'll pop this in on the next episode of Modern Commentary. Look forward to more interesting things. I heard you!
You might be able to get over.
Now she's suddenly all helpful compared to the last couple episodes. See you in a bit, guys. Wait, super bit?